On iTunes, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts, I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist. And I've had an interesting few days here in Qingdao in China at the Asian Media Summit. Asia is an interesting radio market, with some countries having very advanced commercial sounding stations and others where controls on private broadcasters have only recently begun to be lifted. There's lots to learn. A surprising amount of English language radio stations doing lots of interesting things. Voice of Vietnam, the government broadcaster, added an English-speaking station 18 months ago, which is aimed at both English expats and also people who are learning English. It's the only English-speaking station in the country and benefits, I think, from being relatively low on management's radar, meaning that they can innovate and try new things. I particularly like the use of asking listeners to come in and play some of their favourite music. That's a bit more than just a simple request show. And while the listeners there, the presenters record a little promotional video that goes onto social media. A nice way for that listener to then promote the station further. We also heard a speaker from Singapore's MediaCorp. They are the country's biggest commercial broadcaster, and they were talking about their move to a new purpose-built broadcast centre in the city, complete with brand new equipment and new playout systems. That can't have been an easy thing to achieve, but they appeared to do it in a very public way. I often comment that the main thing that holds radio back is the past. Radio is nimble and quick to adapt, if only we'd forget about the way we used to do things. Yet many Asian countries don't have a radio heritage in the same way that Western countries do, so the past is less of a problem for them. From this hotel, with a view of the gleaming skyscrapers of Qingdao, there's an Apple store just down there, there's the sea over there, there's beautiful sculptures and everything else. It's very clear that many countries in this part of the world embrace change with a speed that's almost uncomfortable to places like Europe. So perhaps we should learn to love change and embrace it, as many Asian countries have, particularly when it comes to our radio. You can get my weekly newsletter at james.crid.land. And if you're interested in podcasting, you should get my brand new and still kind of testing podcast newsletter. You'll find that at podnews.net. That's podnews.net. And until next time, keep listening.